We got it. Okay. What was I saying? So, weed and tobacco addiction. I have been smoking weed. Um, I first started smoking weed when I was in high school, and that was in like junior year. So I was like 17. It was right around the time that I was homeless. um, but it really was like a dependency for me. And I'm just talking about this now because, like, I have run out and I'm already starting to feel like, like, um, what's the word? Angst. Um, but a lot of the time, people in the, cannabis community, they will like kind of bypass the idea that we can be addicted because, yes, there are no scientific researches to back up those claims. But we cannot ignore the behavior of people who are obviously dependent on a substance. Um, and we kind of want to like, weed is kind of like the friendly, the friendly drug out of all the other ones. So that's why a lot of the time people kind of want to make it seem like, or argue that it's not chemically addictive. And that could be, up for debate, but there are no scientific, like no one has written in stone that these things are or not chemically addictive or behaviorally addictive. Um, we just kind of going off of like anecdotal studies and anecdotal research tests that didn't have enough funding to really grasp a good portion of the population for it to have any like credibility. Um, but I don't know, like when like me being in a lot of different alternative spaces and like being in like the wellness space and the like the hippie space and the EDM space, and there's a lot of like chemical substances flowing around, and a lot of the time people will, oh, we just here to have a good time. We just here to have, we just here to have fun, and it's like, yeah, that's all good and fine and well, but if y'all are not, having a good time with harm reduction, then I don't want to hear shit you talking about. Like I've seen like firsthand when you are candy flipping and you are in a space around people you do not feel safe with and you are engaging with these different substances, and then you have people echoing from these communities saying like, who are pushing this new age spirituality where, you have people who are pushing psychedelics and who are pushing alternative medicine under the guise of new age medicine and new age spirituality. And a lot of the time, these people don't know what the fuck they talking about. None of us know what the fuck we're talking about unless you have spent your whole life studying this specific thing. And there are very few people who have done that because of the risk that comes with having to study these different substances, trying to get the funding. This stuff is still federally illegal. So for us to do the actual studies, the same studies that have been done on other drugs that we know for sure, like fentanyl, cocaine, different other substances that we have been able to run through a series of trials and tests because they were able to get the funding because the war on drugs and because niggas was just trying to lock niggas up. They was pushing, getting the research done, and they were able to get the funding to get the research done. But when it comes to these alternative people and these people who want to do good in the space, who have their boots on the ground, they can't get the funding because their energy carries this fuck the man, sovereignty, because they are trying to make sure that the people who is affecting the communities that is most affecting them, they're trying to make sure that these people are not continuing to be oppressed. So yeah, we want change and we want systems put in place, but we don't want just anything. We're not ready to just settle for anything just for the sake of change, it's annoying because you have people who seemingly want to, have good intentions, but the way they're going about it is kind of working against us. It's not really helping because the people in power and the people who actually have the resources to do what needs to be done and what these people are yelling and, you know, hooping and hollering about is, and I'm no expert, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. None of us know what the fuck we talk about. You know, we're just trying to do the best we can with the information we have and the resources we have. And the people who affect it the most and who speak on it don't, they have the least amount of privilege. They have the least amount of resources and access. So when you do get in a room, being able to rub elbows with the people in power who do have the, you know, the power to change things, you kind of have to, unfortunately, code switch, um, because you can't be two in certain spaces. Like simple as that, you know. Like when it comes to and it's June, like, you know, it's, you'll see a lot of that, you know, where it's like allyship and, you know, it's performative, but um, the funding got to come from somewhere, and some people are willing to, you know, put up with that to get the funding, and some people are not. And those people, it takes them a little bit longer to see change happen, to see any type of reward from the risk they've spent their whole lives or majority of their lives trying to fight for this cause and whatnot. But when it comes to like I said, the substances and new age spirituality, the war on drugs, like a lot of people I'm seeing in space who I'm really aggravated by, um, these hippie bohemian girlies, these wannabe guru people who are pushing psychedelics and who are pushing, you know, these sacred medicines. And some of these people do have knowledge on where these sacred medicines come from, and how they were cultivated, and the respect that needs to be upheld with any type of ceremony involving these substances and these sacred plants. But there's other people who maybe took a class, maybe got their 400 hours of yoga hours and went somewhere, spent a month uh, in fucking Thailand or some shit, or goddamn Peru, and now they think they're a fucking shaman. And it's like now they pushing retreats and trying to do all this new age Eastern medicine wellness retreat things, and that's all fine and good, but if you are not doing these things with harm reduction in mind, you are part of the problem. No matter how cute and, you know, free spirited you want to make it seem, if you are not making sure that you are being intentional about the information you are putting out so that there's not more harm done, you're part of the problem. And a lot of these new age spirituality bitches, I'm seeing you bitches, y'all are pushing this shit, y'all are part of the problem. I wanna fight. Yeah, I wanna fight. I wanna fight. Yeah. Um, it's infuriating and it's frustrating because as someone who has been in these spaces and had, you know, bad experience with some of these people, and these substances, because I wasn't knowledgeable or I was too trusting of the people who I thought knew more than they did. Yeah, no, we got to stop that. We got to stop that. It's unfortunate and it's frustrating because there are people who actually have boots on the ground, and sometimes you can't tell the difference between a sheep in wolf's clothing and an actual sheep. Um, Especially when you're talking about wellness and spirituality, a place where people seek refuge and seek community and seek tribe and seek comfort and validation. And there are people who are desperate for community, and there are people who take full advantage of that. And there are people in the spirituality space, in the wellness space, in the Eastern alternative medicine space, who are a part of that problem. And I used to be friends with some of these bitches. Like I used to rub elbows with some of these girls, and I was on my way to becoming one of them. You know, and I'm grateful that I didn't reach boss fight level. But yeah, you bitches are dangerous, um, because you're putting very vulnerable people who are obviously desperate for community and refuge. And and to me it seems exploitative because a lot of these girls are like 25 to 30, you know. A lot of these shamans and elders, people who've been doing this, who actually know how to do this stuff, they're no the youngest they will be is 40. They are older. They've been doing this for decades, you know. And these bitches who just went and had a fucking acid trip and a good mushroom trip, and then they wanted to go to Costa Rica to do ayahuasca, and now you're throwing fucking retreats in Peru and all this shit. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Like for real, it pisses me off when I see that a lot of these YouTube bitches who are throwing these retreats. And like I said, I was almost becoming one of them. But I really had to spend some time with myself to figure out what I stood for, you know, when it comes to me alone and with myself. What did I stand for? What did I have to say to the world when no one else's, you know, noise was affecting me, or, you know, what I was trying to do. But yeah, it's just frustrating when you are obviously in a space where people are seeking help. And I mean, that's humanity. People, you know, when there is a need and there is a deficiency, there will be people who will take advantage of that. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. It's just unfortunate. It's just really unfortunate, and I want to fight. So, yeah. But I'm gonna talk about, you know, that whole thing a little bit deeper in a actual video, because I think it's important. And a lot of us are working in these communities and in these alternative spaces, and you're becoming exactly what you hate. You're becoming the very thing you are trying to dismantle. And I wish people would understand that, you know, instead of trying to push their own agenda under this guise of new age spirituality, it's like, no, be real, be honest. Like, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it all the way real, you know. But I guess the check still clears, so whatever. Some of us, I guess, don't have the privilege of knowing where, you know, the morality of our money comes from. So whatever. I will talk to you guys later. That is all for today, folks.